Hey, what's up everyone? It's me, Prince Caius here, and this is what if Deku had the Dragonborn's powers as a quirk. And a few things I'm gonna change for the quirk, so he can be like a little bit good, a little bit better. So I hope you enjoy this. So three, two, one. So Deku can use every single shout from Skyrim. So basically, the main ones he's going to be using is Whirlwind, Fire, Breath, and Dragon Aspect, which is going to be his hero suit, and that will actually have wings, so he can fly around. And yes, I know that's not how it is, but I'm going to add it just because uh, he needs some wings if he's going to be a dragon-like thing. And Deku, so Deku will be using Whirlwind, Shout, the uh, Unrelentant Force. I pronounced that wrong, I know. And Fire Breath, Ice Breath, but mostly uh, uh, Fire Breath, honestly. He won't use uh, anything that will kill anyone. He will hold back sometimes, and um, he his dad does have fire breath, and he can only breathe fire. But Deku's dad uh, only has that as a shout. It's only his father only has one shout, which is the fire breath, and um, he's obviously going to fly around. So let's get started into this. What if? Okay, so something's going to be changed because I really want Deku's dad to be in this, and Deku's dad is proud that his son actually knows more shouts than him and wants to see them all and wants to train him how to use fire breath very effective. And yes, Deku's dad did want to go to UA, but he got severely injured and had to quit altogether, and now is working a part-time job, a full-time job at a uh, with a at a uh, at a building that is for the press, not for the press, for like uh, I'm trying to think. Okay, so Deku's dad works as a cop, okay? And uh, when Deku's dad is off, he usually trains Deku how to use Fire Breath or any of his other shouts more effective. Like his Fire Breath, Deku's Fire Breath will be blue if he's not holding back, but if he's holding back, it's going to be just red. And yes, that's I'm going to do that. Sorry if I'm not going for like general Skyrim shouts like that, but it'll be more improved like that. Okay. Um, but Deku, when Deku was 3 years old, and he basically got his quirk. Deku's dad basically notices that he has the same quirk as him, but he has more shouts. So he basically uh, his when they go to the doctor, when Deku and Inko and his father goes to the doctor. They tell Deku and them that his his quirk is named Dragonborn. He can basically he can do whatever a dragon can do. Um, and yes, he will be durable and heal quickly. Not very quickly, but like basically what a dragon can do and what a dragonborn can do. Okay, but he cannot transform into a dragon. Okay, it's just I'm just gonna do that so he can like so he doesn't break any of his limbs on accident when he's doing something. Um, and no, he's not getting one for all, so don't worry. Um, when Deku was after that day, Deku does go to um, his dad's office at work and asks him uh, if he can train him how to use fire breath just like how he does it. And his father accepts and tells him, okay, so you have to basically say these exact words. And he basically tells him the meaning of fire and stuff and all that, which he already knows everything of his shouts, but he does not know how to use them effectively. And Deku's father does not know this, did not know that at the time, and tries to uh, was about to tell Deku how to use the fire breath, and Deku is just like, uses it instantly, and tells his father, I already know every single one. I could tell you every single one, and I could write it down and tell you what it can do. But one of them is way too murderous. I'm not going to use that one, so I'm not going to write it down. Uh, Deku's father obviously says, well, if it's way too deadly or if it kills someone, just don't use it. And Deku basically writes 2 pages of, like, not a whole 2 pages, but like a whole essay of what everything can do. Not like, it's just like one, just like the shout and then the name. No, well, not the name. Well, the name and then what it can do. And then, because there's a lot of them. And he drew out what it looks like a little bit. So that's why it looks like an essay. So Deku's dad basically reads it and looks at all of them and says, wow, you have all this. I only have one. I'm very proud of you, son. And Deku is like, well, can you teach me how to use these more effective? I know you only have one of them, but can you teach me? Deku's father is obviously saying, obviously tells Deku that, well, I'm going to. I'll meet you at the beach, at Dagobah Beach, in this weekend, okay, when I'm off. Which the next weekend, when the weekend comes by and Deku tells Deku's father basically tells him to clean up this whole beach before he actually does train him. And Deku obviously uses Dragon Absolute and uses Fusoda, the Unreal Intent Shout. I actually pronounced it correctly this time, I think. And he basically flies around with the Dragon Absolute or Aspect, whatever, and he basically picks it up and puts it away, puts it off the beach, and cleans the whole beach in almost an hour, in 2 hours actually. And it's almost dusk, and well, it's almost 2 o'clock, which they arrived at 1, so it's not 1, but 12 they arrived, and it's already cleaned at 2 o'clock. Um, so Deku and his father basically trains how to use the quirk, and they both train together. And Deku's father does tell him everything about UA and what every single test will be probably, which he doesn't tell him like what the answers are on the piece of paper. He just basically says this is what you got to do to get in, and this is the test what you got to do. Which Deku's father's friend is a hero, which we're going to say it was uh, you you guys guess. You guys basically put that out, okay? Actually, you know what? Um, yeah, you guys tell me who his friend should be, who trained with him during UA, and actually, passed. So a few years go by, and yes, Bakugo does come by the beach and trains with Deku and his father, and Deku gets used to getting hurt by uh, Bakugo's uh, explosions and all that, and uh, it's now Deku is 14 now, and uh, but Deku's father does tell him, "Well, it's time for your exam. I hope you will actually succeed, unlike me." And no, Deku. Uh, okay, so I just messed up right there. But Deku does go to UA when the next a few days later he goes to UA, and it's time for the exams, uh, the uh, the UA test. So when Deku arrives, well, Bakugo already passed him and told him that Bakugo basically tells Deku that he'll beat him in the fight. Not in the fight, but in the test, like writing a test and all that. Um, in the robot test. So when Deku says okay and is walking away, well, Bakugo walks away and enters UA, and Deku is walking, but starts to fall because he tripped over his own feet and gets catched by Uraraka. Deku looks on the left of him and starts to freak out because he doesn't have his wings right now on. So he's like freaking out that he's gonna fall on his face. And he looks on his left and sees a girl, and she says, "I'm sorry I didn't use my quirk on you. I'm sorry I used my quirk on you." Uh, and they basically do the same thing as in the anime and manga. And when Deku enters uh, the UA building, Deku basically uh, passes the written exam with 100, because this Deku is confident and smart. And yes, I know I kind of rambled on with this a little bit, and it's it's about to be over. But I'm sorry, I don't have a script. Honestly, I didn't write it. I'm going off instinct, and I hope you enjoyed that one. But I hope you actually enjoyed this, me doing no script. I'm probably better with the script, but let's continue. Um, Time for the battle. The battle. The robots. Time for the battle. Robot battle. Um, Basically everything happens. When Deku basically arrives, he basically sees Uraraka and is going about to tell her thank you, but Deku doesn't even mind that. Well, um, Ida actually grabs his shoulder and tells him, "You're going to interrupt her, and she's probably training, getting ready for the battle ahead." Deku does tell him, "Okay, well, I'm sorry. I was just gonna tell her thanks, and just uh, t- uh, tell her to, get, be, you know, pass the test and do great or something like that." Um, so when the battle begins, Deku basically flies over the uh, the uh, the wall and starts to destroy every robot in his sight with fire breath by melting it or straight up freezing it. Um, and uh, Everyone sees him flying and stuff and doing all this awesome stuff. And Deku is uh, when it's about to be time up, the 0 Point robot is summoned. Now this is where Deku actually shows his true colors. Um, well, his true power. Um, when Deku uh, sees the 0 Point robot, he immediately jumps uh, and flies to the 0 Point robot and starts to use something that he shouldn't because well he's going to only use this on robots or uh or something else, but actually no, he's not going to do that. He's going to use uh he's going to use call dragon, and he's going to call a dragon, a literal dragon, out of nowhere, and there's going to be two dragons, and uh, you guys name the two dragons, and um, all of you can name both the dragons, and I'll pick whichever is the best. Well, whichever sounds the great and best one. So, well, not great or best one. It's just I'm just gonna pick one, okay? Um, so Deku basically summons those two dragons, and basically uses his ice breath, his ice breath to freeze them, not to freeze the dragon, to freeze the 0 Point robot, while the two dragons are just melting, uh, melting uh, the 0 Point robot, and he starts. Deku notices that his the shell is not melting that quickly, so he's like, "Well, I guess I have to use this," and he uses Call Storm, which it's only going to be in one area, and it's going to be where the 0 Point robot is, and it's going to actually what Alderine used, with the asteroids, which it's going to be one big one, and it's going to smash and destroy the 0 Point robot, and the dragons just basically disappear out of thin air, and tells Deku, "Call us again when you need us." And basically Deku lands safely on the ground, and and just walks away like nothing actually happened. And yes, Oraka was saved, and she did get out on her own. So I'm actually going to quit it off here, and I hope you all enjoy uh, this what if. And yes, I know I didn't do this with a, an actual script. I'm sorry. I actually wanted to do this without a script because I wanted to see what my brain could do without one. And tell me what you actually think of what it what it seems like. If it seems weird without a script, honestly, it does because I have to think off the bat. So, hope you enjoy. So, 3, 2, 1.